So hello and welcome to our July newsletter. And July at Rise is a really important and significant month in our calendar because it represents the end of the academic year, and it gives us a chance to look back and reflect upon all of the impact that we've made since September. It also gives us a chance to look ahead and start planning some momentous and pretty big things for September. So there's different ways I could do this. The most obvious way for you guys is to throw some stats at you and show the impact that way. So I could tell you that we've coached 91 students this year. 33 have been through our parkour program. 45 have been through group drumming. 19 have been boxing for fitness. We have one young man who we're funding with a music tuition, but the stats and the numbers don't really do it justice. So what I'd love to do in this newsletter is just let you into the privileged space that I find myself in within the coaching room and share some stories of how we've made an impact. So all of our coaches are trained to create safe space for young people, to ask curious questions. And when you ask a curious question, it encourages the person with to grow, to gain a deeper understanding. And we listen with empathy. So we don't just listen for a breaking conversation so we can say our piece, but we lock on to every word and we listen with our heart, and it can make for a really impactful session. One such student who really sticks in my mind was a young lady who was really struggling with her behaviour. But we didn't judge her on her behaviour. We looked a little bit deeper, like what's the unmet need here? Like what actually is going on with her? And through some deep coaching work and through some self-awareness, and also some consistent action setting for her, which was important, we changed her behaviour from being suspended every week and being in the reset cycle, and she was able to go a whole half term without one single suspension, which was mind-blowing. Part of our angle, if I'm being honest, was to offer her the Rise hoodie, which I don't really give out too often, which she earned and now wears with pride. But it's just something so simple can make such a big difference, but really, really meaningful coaching session. Part of what we've done this year is been able to build relationships with more schools, so 4 secondary schools, and it's been really challenging. And our strategy was to basically get in there by hook or crook and have a success, like work with amazing young people, but let's make sure that we can make a real difference. When I was working at St. Peter's, I was working with 2 of their young people. And I was really, really lucky to work with a year 8 lad. And he was able to turn things around in a huge way within 6 weeks. And again, it was all part of the process. So for him, it was about looking to his future and tapping into what his future self could be, raising his aspirations. He was in Huntingdon, wasn't expecting a lot of himself or from his life. And actually his future self is he wanted to be an architect and a builder, and he wanted to live on his own, and he wanted to travel, and he wanted to ride a motorbike, wanted to grow a moustache was one of them as well. But we were able to do that and then marry that up with, like, what are your values? What are your strengths? Who are you? Like, we're often told that we're not good at things, and we know very clearly what we're not good at, especially when we're at school. But so rarely are we told what we are good at. So we married in that sort of positive affirmation with him, his strengths and values, and a clear vision for his future. And his teacher described it as an awakening. That was how she described it. She'd never seen a turnaround that quickly. Is now engaging with his education, and he's not been suspended. And if I'm being honest, I didn't realise how bad his behaviour was. I was only told afterwards how wild and how raw he could be, but he was able to turn it around. And I think it's the importance of just shining a light on young people, like listening to them. What do they have to say? Who are you? What do you value? Who do you want to become? Like, I think it's very rare that they have that. And when we create this space, we ask their permission. So I would say to them, oh, do you mind if we do a tool? And you can see that it shocks them every time. Like, well, yeah, of course you can. Like, of course you can do it all. But I ask your permission. This is your space. And I think it's a complete sort of 180 for young people. And it's a very new experience for them, but it's really, really impactful. So something we say as coaches is you'll never really know the difference you're making. And that's kind of, we see it as a real positive. Like, it's a motivator. You could make a difference everywhere. Just whether you see it or not is irrelevant. And that's how you should live your life. But someone who we truly did make a difference to was a young person who we worked with who was in and around gang culture, and he was making some poor choices, and he had been in a dark place. His life had been really quite hardcore for him, really challenging. And we met him at a time when he was lost and he was overthinking, and he was really struggling. And he said on week 2, after a few coaching sessions, for the first time in 2 years, I am awake. And he was awake because we just shone a light on who he actually was. Like hearing this mad journey and story he'd been on, but like actually looking at it, like what are the values? Like who are you in amongst that? What could you go on and achieve? Like, and the thing is you marry that coaching up with asking open questions. So very much like get him thinking. Like I believe he has the answers within. I don't try and fix him, but I just let him come up with his own awareness, his own self-awareness, and it's game changing. So after the epiphany of, you know what, for the first 2 years I'm awake, I see myself, he then sets himself positive action. And one of the action steps that he set himself was all of his gang-related paraphernalia was gone. He got rid of it all, which was amazing, game changing. And you could clearly see this was a young person where the trajectory of his life had changed. He was walking on a very negative path, and he's in a lot better place. It isn't perfect, and the work continues, but we're there to support him. He was an incredible young person. Something else which has been super meaningful this year is our team of coaches has grown, and we've had Mel with us coaching, and she's been instrumental, game changing really. And for me personally, you know, we never know the difference we're making, but when I see Mel working, you know, you can actually see it in the third person. Someone she supported this year, it's just been a ray of sunshine. Such an incredible young person, but the fact is they've been dealt a really, really tough hand by life, as sometimes happens. And she'd been dealt that hand at a time where her GCSEs were looming large, and she needed support. Now we see everybody we work with as an individual. So there is no tick box, there is no set piece. We have a standard 7 week program with a young person, but if they need more from us, we're adamant and passionate that they are able to access it. So we were in a position, because of our business partners' support who funded it, and with the school's approval, we were able to change 7 weeks of support to 25 weeks of support. And fundamental, game-changing, life-changing coaching. The relationship they forged within that was incredible. We couldn't have done it without the team, but the real star of the show, as always, was this young person who, in amongst this, learned so much about herself, guided her way through it with real maturity and poise and a sense of responsibility. An incredible, incredible young person, and it's been a real privilege to work with her too. So that's how we make a difference with our coaching, but something we've developed as a team, and something that I think the schools are really seeing the benefit of as well, is building on those positive foundations, but by facilitating amazing activities and stuff that young people can really engage with and let their energy loose. And that's something we've worked hard to do this year. And again, it's been game changing. We've seen the impact. So we've had young people going through parkour sessions at school. And there was a moment I'd like to share with you. There was 15 young men, essentially, some of the young lads doing parkour, and they'd just come out of reset, so they were very disengaged, their energy was low, they weren't feeling too good. And I was standing next to one of the PE teachers of the school, and I just nudged them and I just said, look. And there were these same group of young men locked in, listening to every single word of the instructor. They were working on doing a front flip, and it was amazing. Like that, yes, people can have this energy to burn, but when it's channeled and focused, it can be their superpower. And I saw that massively with parkour. We've had group drumming sessions with peppercorns who are amazing. And again, that brings the focus, changes the energy, brings some noise to the equation, which is just awesome. We've also done boxing for fitness in Long Sands for year 11 girls, exam busting boxing for fitness. And finally, what we're really proud about is we also have one person who we're funding through our partners, Lamarck Music Tuition. And he's a young man who's been through group drumming, been through coaching. We've unlocked and unearthed the passion for drumming, and now we're facilitating it. And it's amazing watching him rise each month. So it's been a huge part of what we do. And this year we've seen it develop and really thrive. So there you go. Like, my intention with this impact video wasn't just to come out of you with stats and statistics, but was to let you into the room and to let you into the privileged position we find ourselves in, day out, working with young people. So I suppose when I finish up this video, I want to thank you all. I want to thank you all for your support and for showing an interest in what we're doing. The fact is, we couldn't do this without you and our community. The team is growing all the time. So we have an incredible young person, Ollie, who's working with us, bringing this to life. We have Em, who's our community manager now, weaving it all together. We have a board of directors, so the team is growing, the mission is growing, and we have tons of exciting stuff to reveal to you next month. and genuinely strap in, because September is going to be a biggie. But for now, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to say the work continues and leave you with our mantra that it is possible.